Interestingly enough, I wasn't very interested in coming back to school. I just thought it was an interesting ad. The ad was a drawing of Pontius Pilate and Christ, and the conversation when Pilate asked Christ, "What is truth?" And the ad took off from that and said, "Well, we can show you what that is," and that really surprised me a lot. I said, wow, that's amazing.
Actually, my grandmother lives in Medford, and she knows someone who graduated here from the 4th class, like Pippichetti, and it was kind of through them and their family that they are big advocates for Thomas Aquinas, and so I came down to visit, and I liked it. I was all, I'm here.
I think the most convincing part for me was the idea of liberal education, where not only are you intellectually formed, which means that you are better able to discern the truth, but you're morally formed, which means that you conform more to what God intends you to be. I had hoped that there was a place like this, and found that there was.
I think you find that when students come, an awful lot of them have a vague notion that truth is unattainable. It doesn't take long for them to drop that notion. They get into class, they start reading these great texts, and they really get excited. There's an enthusiasm that's generated, and there's a sense that if I try hard, if I read these texts well, I'll learn something.
On the other hand, the program is not designed so that anybody can make it through. It's a program of great difficulty because it's proposing to examine the conclusions, the opinions, the deliberations of the greatest minds that have ever lived. That's not easy.
The thing about this education is that I think it gives you a good foundation for anything you want to do.
You're getting the principles from which to stand, not just by throwing things at people here, memorize this, but to make it fun and then to bring people into the conversation and they're coming to the knowledge, not just writing down notes that someone else has thrown to them.
I mean, it sounds a little corny, but it makes you look at things differently. It really does. It sort of puts things into perspective for you, and that's good. And I don't think you get that perspective really anywhere else.
And instead of being non-confrontational, which is almost kind of how I was, unless I felt more comfortable about it, I'm gaining a strength where it's like, okay, go ahead, you have to ask me a question? You do that. Yeah, well, we'll talk about it completely.
You're taught how to reason, you're taught how to think, you're taught how to critically look at a text and find out what's being said. And that can apply to any field you go into.
To keep your sanity, you do have to do other things, and it's not so tough to do. You know, there's always activities going on. There's basketball every day. There's volleyball on Fridays. There's people always, just doing out running and hiking.
There's a sense of common purpose that sometimes is lacking in society at large. It's a rare experience to feel at one with a group of people with a common project. It's an exalting kind of feeling. And it's an ennobling experience.
The faith is really, it's all around the campus, and the sacraments are here every day. There's 3 masses, and the priests are always around, and it's definitely a part of the community.
I think that it's the foundation for it, and that really what you learn in class won't make any difference if you don't love Christ.
We attempt to equip the students with the fundamentals, with the ability to read a text well, to have begun the search for truth.
A lot of people say it's an impractical education, but really it's the most practical, because you really learn the tools of your mind. You use your mind, and you can go anywhere.